Hey guys, this is Raw King 3 bringing you the live commentary Forza 5, and I had a request to build a Ford Cobra 93. Gonna be the Mustang. I thought it was gonna be the 95, but I read my notes closer and they actually requested a 93, so that is what we're building. And then to top it off, we are driving on a track I've only drove now one lap on. So this 93 Cobra Mustang is pretty fast. It's not going to be the killer fast car that the 95 Cobra is, or some of the other really specially fast cars in this B class. But overall, it's pretty good. It handles pretty well. It's pretty fast. It has good acceleration. I don't quite have it geared right. I don't think this. I'm going to run out of gear here before I get out of this straightaway. So I'll show you the tune as it is, and then you may want to make sure you make a change to the gearing ratio for whatever track you're going to run it on. This is the new Road America, and I don't know that I've ever drove this particular track in old Forza. I can't remember. You guys can remind me if we had this in Forza or not. I'm not sure. But overall, this car is pretty strong. It's got pretty good handling on it. It's not great handling because the tires are only the street compound versus getting higher ones. You can actually get some good handling. But I do like it. It's fairly easy to drive. I have traction control on. I think it's making life a little bit easier. Ooh, don't hurry, don't hurry. You can tell I haven't drove this track at all. Ooh, and I just downshift and I didn't need to downshift. I do like this track though. This is a track that is in what I call ALMS racing. It's a multi-class. You guys probably know it fairly well. It's kind of what's most closely related to Forza, although they combined it with the Grand Am League, so they have different cars now than they had in the past. They still have my favorite ones, the Corvettes and stuff like that. But back to this car, pretty happy with it. Wasn't too hard to build. It has pretty good horsepower, good acceleration, and I haven't put the 6-speed transmission in it to see how fast it'll go, but overall it does pretty well. Let's give this, that's probably good. I wanted to run another lap, but I don't have we'll run one more. I wanted to have a rival running and so you guys can see how it does versus another car. I put it against other 93 Cobras out there on a couple of tracks, on the Top Gear track actually, and it was like for 210th place or something like that, so it wasn't really high, but comparatively to the other 93 Ford Mustang Cobra, it was a lot faster, and I'm still able to keep it handling and braking pretty well. Locked them up last time here too. Ooh, didn't hear you. That'll be a fun turn to tune for, just because it's got a little bit of elevation here. So I'm assuming whoever requested this car might have one of these. I'd like to know that. I have to look at the name to see who actually requested this. I'm always interested to hear, so there's sometimes just some really different cars that people request. I did it again, same spot. I'm not going to downshift this time. Hey, I learned something. One out of two is not bad. So, to be honest, it really doesn't matter where we end up on this track. This track just came out today. So even if this is the top 100 time, it just doesn't really matter. Not that it would be because it's building. Just yet. about the same. A little slower. Yep, a little slower. Alright, that's enough chasing laps. Alright, we'll see you over in the parts bin. Okay, and we're back. So that was a top 100 time, but like I said, it really doesn't matter at this point. It's too early in the game. Alright, so for the engine swap, we have the street powertrain swap. Not sure if I can say that. Gave me 308 horsepower. There's probably other components added on to that that brought it up to there. Aspiration conversion, we did the positive displacement supercharger. I did try the twin turbo, but overall I lost PI when I was trying to put on the extra aspiration change on the engine side. Left it rear wheel drive, and all of this components are stock: exhaust, camshaft, valves, displacement, pistons, compression, except for this one. I did the race positive displacement supercharger, and that gave us 61 horsepower for 35 PI, so that was a good gain. And let's see, nope, everything else is stock in that line except for that supercharger. Gonna have race brakes, I'm gonna have race springs and dampers, I'm gonna have race front anti-roll bar, race rear anti-roll bar, and I went with the full cage just to help with the handling a little bit. It helped with the braking too, because I was not able to brake early enough. I had the full weight reduction on when I initially tested it out, and it worked pretty well, but I wanted to gain a little bit more tire. So a combination with the sport weight and some more tire, I was able to get better handling numbers and actually acceleration numbers too. I'm going to have the stock clutch. I'm going to do the sports transmission. And when we get to the tuning, make sure that you are changing the transmission to the right track. And then the other thing I would suggest too is maybe changing out the last gear. The last gear is a little bit tall for the gearing. I have the sport drive line. That was a PI filler. And I have the race differential. For the tires, we're able to go up one compound up to the street tire. I did try to move up to the race tire, but then I was just losing so much ground. I lost so much acceleration. I think I was down to like 8.1 because of the horsepower loss. Did the stock front width at the 245/35s. And I have the second to the last upgraded rear tire width to the 335/25s. That really helped with the handling and braking numbers as well. See, I just ran out of PI. Would have typically used the last one. With the PI, we went a lot lighter. We went with the Robus Monoblock S. It's not the lightest, but it's one of the lightest, I think. So it's that one right there, and it looks pretty good too. But you are welcome to find an equivalent to that. Went with the middle upgraded rim size, R19s in the front, and I believe they are same in the back. R19s in the back. Just use that for a little bit of stabilization. I have the front and rear Forza wing, and I did not take a hood. I wonder if I could have. Nope, they all added 1 PI. So that's the parts. That should get you to the 600, the B600. With the tune, it's going to be pretty standard, 2929, and with the gearing that I had right there was 495. Again, I would look at maybe using the 6-speed, but you'll have to give up maybe weight of rims and maybe something else. Maybe get that 6-speed and get that last gear tuned, because between the 4th and the 5th gear, there's quite a big gap. This could be my standard. This is kind of where I started. This is probably could use a little bit more work, but at this point I think it's working pretty well. Negative 2.1, negative 1.8 for the camber, 0.1 for the toe, 5.6 for the front caster. I believe these next two numbers are going to be out of the box, 23.62 and 20.20. No, I actually did soften that up quite a bit. 23.62 and 20.21 in the rear. I think it starts like at 27 and 23. I did soften those up quite a bit and made it handle a lot better. Springs I also did reduce as well, 726.2. In the rear, 678.6. Had to soften that up a little bit due to the lack of tire compound. And since this car is really, really tall, I went ahead and took it down as far as I could to the 6.8. I didn't change this one a whole lot, but I left it at 9.0. I think out of the box it was like 9.2 or 9.3, and then I just reduced the rear rebound stiffness, and it was a pretty good start. This may get adjusted later, but it's a pretty good start. Rebound, I was comfortable with it at 5.0 and 2.5. Some of that was due to the car height. Turned out pretty well. I left the downforce in the middle. This is something you could play with as well. You could probably get a little bit more top speed out of it, but I'm not sure if that's the type of track you want to take this car to. In fact, you may want to raise the cornering in the front and rear downforce on this as well, make it handle even a little bit better. My standard brakes at 53 and 140 worked pretty well. I locked them up a couple times, but that was just because I was braking so late. This number's a little bit higher, but I was using the engine to slow the car down a little bit. We have acceleration at 48% and deceleration at 24%. That seemed to help with slowing the car down in combination with the brakes in some of those long turns. So that's the 93 Ford Cobra Mustang 1993 in B class. Give it a try and keep tweaking at it, see if you like it. I think it's going to work pretty well on the smaller to medium-sized track, but nothing too technical. Carries speed pretty well, accelerates pretty well. I think it'll be a good car for anybody's garage. All right, thanks a lot for listening, guys, and we'll catch you later.